room and our weekly news announcement. News announcement doesn't sound good, right? News update.
Yeah, it's an update. So, new things. Demons of Chernobyl. That's the new thing. Another new thing, basically done. Just a few slight adjustments to make, maybe correcting a few typos. It's finally Wretched Chanbara.
I was going to say finally when you said it, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it will come out next week.
Yes, I believe so. I believe it will be next week. But we're not going to talk about that today. We'll talk about that when it's released. Right now, the point is to talk about the one that was released.
Yes, Demons of Chernobyl.
Demons of Chernobyl.
It's something special because it's the first time that something that wasn't written. Well, we have more things that were written that were not written by us. But the layout was also not done by you.
Yeah, so it was entirely done by someone else, but for Wretched. Phil Stroud, though he didn't really write it for Wretched. He
but that's a
adapted
bonus.
it. He had already written it, but and it was going to be published by someone else. Something happened. It didn't. It wasn't completed, so. He had that scenario, and I think he found out about us and Wretched through videos. I think it was Black Lodge Games video about Epoch and some of the one or more than of Pundit's videos.
Mm-hmm.
So in the thing, he thought about that probably would fit, and then I talked to him about that, and I checked the scenario, and he was right. That wasn't made for Wretched, but it could have been made for Wretched.
And it's something that we didn't have yet.
Atomic stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Radioactive. No,
yeah.
we didn't.
And yes, Chernobyl is an interesting setting for this. I like the TV show Chernobyl. Though it's probably there are some connections because it takes place. This scenario takes place precisely in that time, and the situation obviously is that one. Of course, there are some factors that in the real world weren't. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe there were psionics in Mother Russia. I don't know.
But not in Chernobyl's basement. I hope
I don't know.
if not they died or
Maybe.
not, and they are.
Yeah.
One of the references for the scenario is, and now I don't remember the name, but I saw it there. That movie about zombies in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Chernobyl something.
Can't remember that. Did we see that?
Yeah, we saw that. There were the guys that were
kind of silly.
that were doing sightseeing in Chernobyl, and then they're attacked by a pack of
dogs.
feral ghouls.
Weren't there dogs before?
First there were dogs, but
Ah,
because
okay.
there's a lot of animals there. But then there comes the feral ghouls.
Yeah, ghouls.
Ghouls.
It could be ghouls as well.
Ghouls, yes.
Yeah. They were playing soccer, and then the ghouls are coming after them. Yeah.
And Roadside Picnic.
Roadside Picnic.
That
And
is the
Stalker.
book, the originated Stalker. Exactly,
Stalker,
and
both things. The movie, Tarkovsky's movie. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I think so because I
Perhaps.
know I was.
But Stalker, the video game, definitely. I'm not sure if there are psionics in there, but well, there are people shooting at each other. Great game. I was never good at it, but great game. Very atmospheric. Probably one of the most atmospheric games I've ever tried. Very, very good. Very, very well done. All the environment and the graphics are kind of. Yeah, well, it was a few years old, but it was good for the time. I think it was very intensive. It blew up the computers because of not quite blew it, more like melting them. But so Stalker.
It's a small scenario.
Yeah.
It costs $5.
We can't say much about it because it would obviously spoil.
Yes.
So you can't.
But
have
you are
spoilers.
sent in the mission to Chernobyl, the day of the explosion. A rescue mission.
A rescue mission. There are several possible mission sponsors, but the author recommended Foundation, World Foundation, yeah, recommended one of. Well, depends if you are really playing at the supposed time when it happened, because you can also advance this into the future and play this in New Flash, for example. In that case, it would be probably a new problem happening at the place. Chernobyl is still there, so, and it could still explode. So you would have to do some minor adjustments to it. But if you are playing it at the time, it would be the very beginning, I think, of the Warden Foundation. The Warden Foundation starts in the early 80s, even though before it was a foundation, Mr. Warden was already, well, one of the Mr. Wardens, because when Vigilantes came up, a new Mr. Warden appeared.
Yes, well, we didn't say what the other Mr. Warden was doing, but he was also
sponsoring superheroes. It could also be that Mr. Warden, I guess.
The other Mr. Warden was already doing something.
So you could also use that Mr. Warden.
This is who
well, the other one
didn't
do
the other one?
anything.
Was it you or was the Strauss? Or it was both of you?
I think we can say both, because he said he just wrote Mr. Warden. But the thing is, when the foundation started, Mr. Warden was dead. So I had to come up with a new Mr. Warden because he adopted people several kids, at least 2 kids at that time, and he was dead, so it couldn't be him. So
well, he's not really dead. He's in the beyond. He's alive in the beyond.
He's alive in the beyond, but he's not alive in the real world.
But now we have to come up with decide who is the good one and who is the evil one, or is the most
they
evil.
are not twins.
I know, but that doesn't matter.
Okay. But yeah, well, the younger Mr. Warden is the Vigilantes sponsor, and the other one was the guy who founded the foundation, and then he disappeared into the beyond. He didn't actually die, but kind of people think he's dead. So we're assuming that those are the ones that will going to finance your expedition to Pripyat. I'm not sure if that's the way you pronounce it, but that's the place where Chernobyl is. And
it seems an interesting adventure. I didn't read it too much because I'm hoping that I might
you're going to play it. Yeah.
Yes.
So I guess we can schedule that, and we're probably going to play it. Well, you didn't mention that, but by default, this should be Wretched Darkness, because it includes, well, first because of the timeline. None of the others would work in that timeline, unless you're playing, you are using Retroploitation, which could also be. If you are using a different timeline, Wretched New Flash, it could play it in Wretched Space, but that would be too different.
I liked it, and I was wondering that we should have a setting for Stalker, and I know Apocalypse can have a little bit of Stalker, but
Wretched Apocalypse is one of the possible settings. Well, it could be also Wretched Apocalypse, but in that case,
you have to travel in time.
It could be that, yes.
And we still haven't written the Wretched time traveling. That's another thing that we have to do.
Yeah, I think we could do something for that when I start writing. Well, that's another plan. Writing a guide to the beyond.
A travel guide to the
beyond.
Travel
guide to the beyond. And that came up because yesterday because I was the game master, but you were lost. The characters were lost in the beyond, and I was thinking there should be a book about Wretched Darkness as the locations and some information about it, but it doesn't go into too much detail because the book was already huge. But if it's something like just about the beyond, tables of encounters, tables of perhaps even loot, because
the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Beyond.
Yeah, maybe something like that. It would be helpful. Of course, you don't need travel times and all that because that's just.
Doesn't matter. But maybe rules.
But maybe
if you're a conjurer,
rules
how
for
can
that.
you travel from
and
different realms
and tables to do that. Tables to.
Yes.
How long is How long is this trip going to take? So, for example, going to here to the end of the room might take a week. And then going from here to China, it could take half a minute. Well, not China, but the equivalent would take
half an hour.
Half an hour, for example. So tables for that, and for other events and weird climate and all those things that could happen in the beyond. So that's another. And in the meantime, I'm doing or redoing, because it was already published as a Wretched Verse, a guide to Avalidad, which is going to be expanded and using some information that comes in the new Flash book to do something that can be used by other people that don't even play New Flash. So this is
be a city setting.
Yeah, city setting for future noir, biotech, even cyberpunk. You can, if you just cross where it says biotech enhancements and you say cybertech, basically the same thing, just small adjustments. But I think it could be, or if you have the old version, the old edition of Wretched New Flash, it's not really the same. There's less information about the city, so you buy this and you don't really need the second edition. So that will be one of the next releases, and this it has nothing to do with the rest, but yeah.
And I'm still working on my.
But well, this is an update, so you can update on several things, and no one is watching anyway at this moment. So.
No, at this moment nobody's watching because we are recording.
That's also true.
The
But
kids are watching.
I was looking at the timer and it says 11 minutes, so probably I don't think people usually stop at the 3 minutes or 5.
Next week. Probably.
That's Chanbara, right?
No,
something else.
Free. The comics.
Oh yes, the comics. Yes, that's true.
Our web comics.
Yeah,
our true web comics.
Yes, the true web comics. Yes. So I have just talked to Chris Villarosa, and he's almost finished. There's just some slight details. He's going to change the balloons in the second page, but that will be probably tomorrow, assuming that you are seeing this on Saturday.
So next week we're gonna have probably Chanbara, the guide to Valida.
Perhaps not.
No.
Just one of the things, I think.
Okay. No, I'm joking with you.
Maybe on the weekend, but yeah, the comics certainly probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Monday. I don't think this will change the mind of anyone. But,
you're talking about AI art. I think that's another video.
Yeah, it's not AI art.
Not for, that's another video that we have to do when we launch the comics. We're gonna rant again about AI art and people being stupid.
Yeah, because we did we did hire an artist for this.
Of course. And it's something that's how people understand. Okay, we hired an artist for something that we're giving for free.
Yeah, exactly. Because we want to, and because the comic. I'm not going to do that with AI. But I could do it. It's possible. There are people doing that, but why? It's probably better done by someone else, because I haven't followed comics for a long time, so I told him, I told the author, there were 2 authors, but one of them apparently is out now, so it's just Chris, and I told him, well, I want to do a comic for the Wretched Verse. I wanted to start in New Flash with a group of characters that will be the special operations teams in ZoneSec. So the team is larger, but the characters that will be appearing, at least in the beginning, will be Clayton Reed, the chief, Lars, the pilot and driver, and obviously O'Malley, because O'Malley is a comic relief. And then I'm not going to tell you right now what's going to happen, but there will be traveling in the Wretched Verse. So obviously it has to do with supernatural stuff. I told him the concept, the characters I wanted involved.
You sent him the books for him to
yeah,
see
obviously,
it
so he could. If he's going to have to come up with a story, he needs to have some background. I filled in the blanks as well, so he didn't have to read all the book. But the rest, I told him, you decide the rest. Dialogues and specific what's happening in this page. I'll just tell him next. They should go somewhere and something like this or that is going to happen. But the specifics and especially the dialogues are up to him. So yeah, I needed someone to do that. And I'm pleased with the results. It has a vibrant color look, which suits very well the new Flash environment. Of course, the next pages, probably the next one might be still, but then it's going to move to another place, so the style will probably change as well.
It's going to be interesting project.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
and this should so we didn't plan anything because we never do. That's not something that we do. So we just told him for some indeterminate amount of time we are going to need 1 or 2 pages per month. So that's it. And
then when we have enough, there will be a printed version.
Yeah. So maybe in the meantime I'm going to include, if possible, pages in books. So just people,
or
if you are buying everything,
or something like that.
yeah. So if you are buying stuff, you will have the pages somewhere. I think the first, yes, probably, but for example, the first 2 pages I can just put them in the a Validad book because
yes, of course,
it is it makes sense. Then it depends because I think I'm sure next they will go into Wretched Comic territory. If there's something coming out involving Wretched Comic,
there will be.
Yeah, there will be that one
at some point.
Yeah, so at that moment I'll just put those pages there. Well, we'll see that, but I'm going to publish them in the blog, so which means that you can still, if you want to collect the images, you can just download them and keep them in your computer. Eventually, it will be a PDF and a book. I think Lulu does comic format, so you can do that. If not, it will be a digest as our books, which can work for a comic.
Yeah, I'm remembering another thing that will come out probably next month is Supermax, right?
Oh yeah, there's also that. Yes,
Strauss.
Michael Strauss sent me the.
There's a crossover with the Vigilantes and Apocalypse, right?
I haven't looked at it yet. I'm doing
yeah, because you're
several things at the same time, and
and all that.
I don't want to mix anything.
Yeah,
right
but
now.
I think that's because it's talk about it in
probably
in Facebook and Twitter.
Okay. Anyway, if you like horror and science fiction, especially stuff that involves psionics and if you like Stalker, especially if you like Stalker, I think you should take a look at
Demons of Chernobyl.
Demons of Chernobyl. Also, because if this goes well, maybe the author will write some more stuff. So buy it.
It's already available on print on demand.
Yeah,
Lulu.
this time is he preferred to do both things at the same
I'm
time.
kind of wondering if he was right because it sold some copies. So
Yeah, no, that's true. It's probably better, but if I'm going to schedule that, I don't know. Maybe it could, but no. There's a reason for it. I didn't decide it just because I'm bad at planning. I decided because sometimes there's a mistake, and then I prefer. Yeah, so it works against us, but at the same time, I don't want people to buy stuff that we didn't have any time to check it out. So sometimes, in the end, sometimes people will only notice the typos later, but at least I'm giving it a chance. If someone finds a very, I'm not worried about just a small typo in the middle, but if someone finds something very, very large, I would rather have
Mhm.
some
Yeah,
days.
that's
So that was the
It's
reason.
good to say.
I
to make
decided
sure
that-
people are not.
Yeah,
being
that was the
cheated.
reason.
Yes.
It wasn't just because in the beginning I just okay, it's there, so you can buy it. But no, now I wait some time. I send the thing to Lulu and I order a copy, but I wait until there's some time after it, so we can. And sometimes I don't even do it right away. I just wait some time, a week or so. So that's the reason. Maybe we lose some sales, but
Yeah.
that's life.
Okay, guys. See
That's
you
all
next
for
week.
today. Bye bye.